Election night 2004 continuing here at the CNN election headquarters, Times Square, the NASDAQ market site. Let's bring in David Gergen. He's been an advisor to 4 presidents, Democrats and Republican. David, what's your take on what's happening right now?
Well, Wolf, at this point, it has come down to Ohio. One network has now called Ohio for President Bush. And we just heard Stu Rothenberg say it looks very uphill for Kerry in Ohio. And of course, if Ohio goes to Bush, I think that's the ball game. But we'll have to wait and see. If the president does win Ohio, if you step back from it all now, you'd have to say the Republicans will have had one hell of a night. If he's not only ahead in the popular vote, but remember last time around he lost the popular vote by 500,000 votes. This time he's up nearly 3 million votes in the popular vote, with many more people turning out, and yet he still goes up. And beyond that, I think he's going to possibly have a bigger lead in the Electoral College than last time. Plus those 5 Democratic seats in the South. All 5 appear now to be going toward the Republicans, and Daschle's in trouble in South Dakota. If you add that up, that's a massive victory for the president, for Republicans. I think it's going to have a major impact on our politics. His side will be jubilant, as you can well understand, and Karl Rove will be crowned as the new Mark Hanna of politics, who worked with McKinley way back when. But I have to tell you, someone who's lived in a blue state and teaches kids, there's going to be a sense of devastation among people who have been working their hearts out for John Kerry. It's going to be, for a lot of people in the younger generation in particular, who've worked so hard, I think they're going to be shaking their heads and say, my goodness, what else do we have to do to win one of these things? And I'm not sure how that's going to go, whether it will turn to cynicism about the system or whether they'll be willing to hang in, as conservatives did some years ago when they were in the wilderness, and they worked their hearts out to get back in and then win. Whether those kids will be willing to do that or not.
David Gergen, stand by. We're going to get back to you, but CNN's Paula Zahn standing by with the Crossfire team. They're going to weigh in as well. Paula?
Thanks, Wolf. And we've been mulling over the fact that 85% of the precincts are reporting in Ohio showing Bush with 51% of the vote, John Kerry with 49% of the vote. Can Kerry crawl back from these numbers? James Carville.
And I've spoken to Kerry's people on the ground in Ohio, and would probably be drawing a double inside straight here right now. One never wants to give up, but one has to be a realist, and tonight doesn't seem to be a very good night for Democrats.
Are you surprised by these numbers coming out of Ohio?
Yes, I had thought and hoped that we would do better, but we didn't, and the reality is here. And I mean, I think you got to give a lot of credit to the president and his team and Mr. Rove and those people. This was an election I thought would have said it would be very difficult for them to win. They won it, and they'll have a lot of celebration, and the Democrats will have a lot of reassessment.
So you're saying, in the absence of our calling Ohio at this hour, you think it's over for John Kerry?
I spoke to people.
You went a little bit further than that just now, James.
I did.
You were talking about a celebration for the president.
Well, I think. Look, it doesn't matter what I say now. I can't. There's no sense in spinning people at it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and there's no sense in telling people something. I've talked to people on the ground in Ohio, knowledgeable people who would love to give me good news, and they're not. And which tells me, after being around this a little bit, that things are probably going to be difficult here.
Paul, it's not merely that as important as it is that he's lost Ohio and lost the presidency. You lose presidential elections, you lose elections, but let's just step back and see what the great Democratic Party, and it is a great political party, what shape they're in. When you consider 40 years ago, they had total control of Congress. They won most presidential elections. They were a national party with strong positions in every part of the country. Now there's vast parts of the country where Democrats can't win. They're very poor in rural America. We're going into 12 consecutive years of Republican control in the House of Representatives. Except for a kind of a fluke because one senator crossed the aisle. They've had almost that long Republican control in the Senate, and a president who was not a popular president has been reelected. Now you got to say that there's something the Democratic Party is doing wrong. It's the old joke that the dogs don't like that dog food, and by the dogs I mean the American voters. They don't like what the Democratic Party is putting out for him.
Are we able to look at a specific issue? I mean, in the end, was this a Democratic Party that was adamantly opposed to a war, and this was a candidate that was handed every opportunity with the numbers going against the president on this war?
Well, I think it's two big things. It's the war, where most Democrats were more wholeheartedly against the war than Senator Kerry. He voted for the war and had a lot of statements early on about the war that I think a lot of Democrats didn't like, and so there was that ambivalence. You know, no wartime president seeking re-election has ever lost. And no president with an approval rating below 50 has ever won. Now, one of those two rules is going to be broken tonight. I mean, it does, I think James makes a good point. Ohio is looking increasingly bleak for the Democrats. If that goes for the president, it's really almost impossible to see Senator Kerry pulling this off. But I think you have the combination of the war, Democratic ambivalence about it, and solid Republican support for it. And then you have these social cultural issues, which Bob was referring to in rural America, where you have, God, guns, gays, and you have, in this case, a Democratic campaign that really didn't want to talk about those issues at all. I mean, when I worked for Bill Clinton, he was just as pro-choice on abortion as John Kerry is, but he would always say, I want to make sure that abortion is safe, legal, and rare. And I think that helps a lot. It at least tells people that you have something to say about it, and I don't think it worked to walk away.
Well, what was the issue with John Kerry? He was afraid of alienating whom? By talking about those things in a more
I think,
way.
maybe for prudential reasons, he wanted to try to focus it on his issues. In other words, he wanted to put the president on trial for the war, and he wanted to put the president on trial on those economic and health care kind of issues, the jobs issues.
Hey, look, Senator Kerry we did a lot of Senate races we didn't do that well in. We obviously didn't do very, particularly well in some of these House races. It's one thing, my great criticism of this president is they had a problem in Iraq and they denied it. I think that we shouldn't deny. The party has to reassess where it is. It's probably going to go through a very difficult time. It's necessary that it go through this time. We didn't do that well in 2002. We didn't do that well in 2004. The Democrats around the country gave enormous amounts of money, enormous amounts of energy. They was unified going into this, and I think they're going to be asking some tough questions, and I think people are going to come up and answer it.
If you stand back, it's pretty shocking as a result. I mean, you can't overstate the degree to which all the smart people in Washington, on both sides, thought Kerry was going to win. Bush was... except for Robert D. Novak.
Obviously, I'm a dumb person. I'm a dumb person that thought Kerry was going to win.
He was the only one on the panel that got it right.
He was one of the very few. I mean, look,
I wouldn't vote
guys. I'd rather eat dirt than vote for Kerry. However, I thought he was going to win. Bush was weak. The war is... It is unpopular. At least people have deep questions about it, and he wins anyway. What does that tell you? I think it tells you a couple things. Bush is stronger than he seems, and B, it wasn't only about Bush. Democrats wanted to make this purely a referendum on Bush. Do you want change or more of the same? But on some level, people had to feel comfortable with the guy replacing Bush, and I don't think they were.
Can I say something that
very quickly
very often, and that is that this is a conservative country, and the fact is that John Kerry, he wouldn't even call himself a liberal. And and this is the country is too conservative for the Democratic Party as presently constituted.
Well, the conservatives certainly are more vocal here this evening at this late hour.
I think those were liberals, actually.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Was it?
Yeah.
You're kind of on both sides here. Thank you, gentlemen. Back to you now, Wolf.
Thanks very much, Paul Lazan, and thanks to the Crossfire co-hosts. Only about 16 seconds.